Welcome to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. I'm your host, Fabian motherfucking Ojeda, and I don't know shit, but that's okay. All right, let's get this shit started. Thank you everybody for listening to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. Hope you all enjoyed episode number 23 with the expat, Stephen Green. I really enjoyed that episode. We talked a lot about different things, travel, a little bit of soccer, or as you say over there, football. Stephen was actually our first international guest. Hope to have a lot more people from around the world. And today we are back with a brand new episode and a brand new international guest. She's an up-and-coming solo artist joining us from Canada. Please welcome Schara. Schara, how are you doing today?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Definitely trying to, keep those lungs nice and healthy. Not trying to breathe that air, that burning air in, right?
I know, it's crazy. I have my air purifier on right now.
I know, and then it's like, hey, keep your masks on. There's a disease going around, and then we're still outside going and doing our thing, and then it's like, hey, now the whole world is on fire. I
know, it's insane. It's literally the apocalypse.
Well, we'll see if that goes anywhere. So I'm really glad to have you on. I know I'm weird. I booked you in advance a month. I'm like, yeah, I guarantee you I'm not big timing you. I just wanted to, I had a lot of guests going on, lined up and everything. And, it gave me a little bit of time to follow your Instagram, which is good because I know that at least you have a sense of humor.
Yes, I'm big sense of humor.
So I see, you've kind of been on a podcast streak of sorts, right? I think just a few minutes ago offline we mentioned that you've been on 7 podcasts, right? So how's that experience been so far?
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not going to lie. Before my first podcast, I had never listened to a podcast. I don't know, where I've been living, but I just, haven't. And now I'm, all into them. They're so awesome. And I think it's just, a really great way during, in general, but also especially in COVID. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, I'm pretty sure a lot of podcasts were born because of the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the reason mine was born, for sure. So I'll try not to be incredibly repetitive. So I hope I don't ask a lot of the same questions. If I do, just stop me and be like, "Nah, we're not answering that. We're moving on."
Oh my God, never ask me all the questions. I love it.
So just a general question. Since you're in Canada, I've got to ask. What have you all been doing over there to handle the whole COVID thing? It must be different from here in LA.
Yeah, well, I don't know how long you guys locked down for, and I'm sure most people know, but for those who don't know, Vancouver's only a 2-hour flight from LA, right? Mm-hmm. So we're pretty close, but we locked down for 2.5, 3 months, where the only thing that was open was essential services and grocery stores. So we did that for a long time, and then that helped. And then obviously rules on masks and whatnot. What about you guys?
Yeah, we started around March and we never did a good job. Here we've just been kind of doing our own thing where, people are super rebellious about it. It was for the first month or so, everybody was, I think, trying to get prepared. For whatever reason, everybody hoarded toilet paper and
oh my God, here too!
Yeah. I actually bought a bidet because of that.
And that's so smart. So did my friend.
And I'll tell you what though, I'm never going back because that bidet is everything.
That's what they say. They say once you have a bidet, goodbye toilet paper.
Yeah, but we've been doing a terrible job over here. I don't know what do you think it is with us? Are we just too stubborn and dumb for our own good over here?
Well, I think, Canada's the same, though. I get in fights with people all the time who think this is some sort of political thing when it's, actually not. It's an actual disease that's, killing people and debilitating our society. Mm-hmm. So, I think, people just make it political when really it's just about putting on a mask and, just do it.
It's a simple thing, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, quick rundown. We're going to talk a little bit of history and backstory, sort of, get to know you. We'll talk about your music specifically, check in with some social media says comments, and then we'll kind of, examine pop music and the music industry as a whole. How does that sound?
Sounds awesome.
All right. So, Schara, I'd like to give my listeners a sense of, who my guests are. The phrase I use is I like to frame the picture, So where did you grow up, and what was childhood like? How do you think that factored into who you are now?
Well, I grew up in a small town called Harrison Hot Springs, which is like 2 hours outside of Vancouver. It was very small, and that's where my like love for music came. There wasn't obviously much to do there in the winter because it's that cold and snowy. So, music was kind of my salvation growing up there. I mean, obviously I love Harrison Hot Springs, but yeah, music saved me for sure. Okay.
And then who was Schara in high school? Were you kind of like the band geek, or like, the athlete or the nerd, or what was going on there?
Oh my God, I haven't ever been asked this question. This is my new favorite question. Love it. Okay, so like high school sucked for me, so I moved from Harrison Hot Springs to the city, Vancouver, the big city. And like I didn't know anyone, and I was kind of goth. Like I was a bit goth. Okay. So like I loved, dark makeup and spikes and stuff, which I still love. But, I've grown out of that. But anyway, so I was kind of a bit of an outcast. And then, I was a band nerd, but not like, the trumpet bands. We actually had like a thing called the blues band. Okay. So we had this band, and we played blues music for all the assemblies and whatnot. So that, I was definitely an outcast, but music once again saved me. But I went through like a lot of phases in high school. I think a lot of teenagers do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, would you say that you naturally had like this innate love for music, or do you think you developed it somewhere along the way? Like, can you point to somewhere where you can say like, hey, I like this, I don't think many people can, but, sometimes people have like this epiphany where it's like, oh, I love music.
Oh, no, I was, like, born with it. Like, I literally came out of the womb being like, I'm going to be a famous singer, Mom. So, yeah, no, it was just always there. But definitely, like, developed along the way with, like, joining bands, living in a small town, doing music, doing choir. And then eventually really being, like, at a young age, like, Mom, because I grew up with a single mom. And I was like, Mom, like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is my dream. And she was very supportive. She's also in the arts. Okay. So from there, obviously that all shaped me. And then once my mom really helped me become like a professional singer, then stuff started moving.
So you sang as a child. Did you play any instruments?
I play guitar and piano, but once again, not gonna lie, I'm not like I'm no Lady Gaga. Like I write like all my own songs or most of my own songs, but instruments like I don't feel confident enough to like rip it up on stage. But that is my goal, is to be able to play piano on stage. But I do play piano. I just don't want people, watching it.
So a lot of people have kind of like the stage fright and whatnot. I mean, would you say that at any point you had that as a child or as a teen, or were you just more of a natural performing in front of people?
Oh no, I had stage fright. I'm definitely a natural now, but I was like really, really afraid and petrified. I had a really bad experience at this huge competition when I was about 10. So coming from Harrison Hot Springs, small town of like 500 people, to like this huge competition in the city, there was like 10,000 people watching me. I like never had seen 10,000 people. I've only seen 500 people, and I like freaked out, and I didn't sing for like 2 years after that. Wow. But then after that, I started, like, now I love performing, and I loved it before that performance as well. I loved it, like, in elementary school, and there was, like, an assembly, and I'd sing in front of it. But once again, like, going from 500 people to 10,000 is, like, a big jump for, like, a 10-year-old. But yeah, I definitely overcame it, for sure. Now I love it.
Yeah, it seems pretty daunting there. When you were younger, maybe, who were some of your favorite bands or singers or anything like that? And do you still like them now, or has it changed?
Well, I grew up listening to like Bob Marley, still love Bob Marley, obviously. Grew up listening to Marilyn Manson, still love Marilyn Manson. Enya, do you know Enya?
Yeah, I've heard of her, yeah.
Yeah, grew up listening to Enya, still like Enya. I don't know, I think a lot of my influences I still actually listen to. But I mean, I used to listen to a band called Aqua. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. So obviously, I grew out of that, but that was like a big influence when I was like 6.
Yeah, I think those are some of the ones that a lot of the time, if you're into music and people ask who are your influences, you don't really like throw out there first, right? Like Aqua. Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, that'd be like, I think, rock musicians in like 10 years saying, trying to hide the fact that they like Nickelback.
Yes!
What's
There's this meme, and it says, it says, wear a mask. It's not like we're asking you to wear a Nickelback shirt.
Oh, man. Wait, but they're your compatriots, right? They're Canadian, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. They live, like, in my province. I think that I like Nickelback, but whatever.
I was going to say, somebody's got to like them, because they're, like, huge. Like, they've sold millions and millions of records and stuff, but I always see the memes that, like, nobody likes them. But when they first, that first single came out, I remember everybody singing that song, what was it called?
This Is How You Remind Me.
That one. Yeah, that one was huge. All over the radio.
No. For sure. I mean, I'm a firm believer is if your song is catchy, your song's catchy.
Uh-huh. And that's, and that's what I want to talk about later about pop music, because people, hear the term pop music and it's like, they're like, ugh, I don't like that, but it's like, no, you do, because once, a rock song or even, a rap song or whatever becomes that popular and catchy, it's a pop song.
Exactly.
Right. So, any new influences now? Is there anybody who you listen to and you can tell, like, that's part of my music? I've integrated their sound into what I'm doing.
Definitely Taylor Swift, but I've loved Taylor Swift my whole life, but I'm like a huge Taylor Swift fan. I'm telling everyone on every podcast so that one day one of my fans will like put together all the clips of me being like, oh, I love Taylor Swift, and then maybe she'll work with me. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's a good deal right there. You just got to blow her up on that Twitter though, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm obsessed. I think Taylor Swift is the best songwriter of like our generation.
And she's actually one of the ones that's remained super successful. I forget which year it was, but it was a few years ago where nobody the whole year had sold like a platinum album except her.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like nobody in the whole world, had that type of success, but then she released an album, it went platinum. She was the only platinum artist that year. I forget what year it was though.
Was that when she did 1989? I feel like it was.
Is that like maximum like 5 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah. It's probably that album. That was a huge album. But yeah, I mean, I just think her song, I feel like a lot of musicians these days, not like all of them, obviously there's like Billie Eilish and Phineas, they're obviously amazing. But there's a lot of other artists who they get trapped in, I don't know, the new production, whereas like the craft of songwriting is still like, it's still relevant. Like, you gotta be able to write a good song. And I feel like Billie Eilish and Phineas and Taylor Swift, like, they write good songs, even if you strip away the production.
Yeah, and, the key word there is write, too. They write it.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, you hear songs that are on the radio, they're catchy, they're good songs, but it's written by, like, 30 people.
Oh yeah, that's huge. Well, I know. Like I'm a music teacher as well because I haven't made a lot of money in my own career yet because the music industry is very corrupt, which we can talk about later if you like. But so I teach music to kids, and a lot of time, like they're like, "Oh, why did it take so many people to write this song?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I don't know. I don't think it should take 30 people to write a hit song. But I mean, at the same time, I didn't write my song that went top 100. I didn't write it. I just fell in love with it and really wanted it, so we bought it. But still, even that song, it didn't take 30 people. I think it was like 4. But I don't know. I think, sometimes the act of songwriting gets lost nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. I asked social media, who are some of your favorite pop musicians? I got a lot of the same answer. I think maybe... Who
was it?
Well, number one, overwhelmingly. Right? You want to take a guess on that one?
No, you have to tell me.
All right. So I think it also has to do with the age of like I'm about to be 34, so everybody who answers my social media stuff is about the same age, maybe a few years older or younger, right? And everybody overwhelmingly answered Britney Spears. Like,
oh, what?
Yeah, every other answer, right, was Britney Spears. As soon as I put out pop. A couple of our former guests, Norma Larios, Mary Eileen, they honestly answered that. So congratulations, girls, for being honest on that one, not being shy. Yeah, but I'm talking about like I probably had like a good like 30, 40 answers. Every other one was Britney Spears.
Okay, that's crazy. I love Britney Spears. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Britney Spears. I still listen to Britney Spears because there's some songs that just, like, get you so hyped at the gym and whatnot. And I love her, but, like, I don't know. There's a lot of pop artists out there that are really amazing.
Mm-hmm. And some of the other ones, obviously, were, like, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. You know, I kind of expected, you know. Were you a big boy band fan back in the day?
Yeah, when I was like 7.
But you kind of get over that, right? The whole, like, you know, sugary, kind of syrupy, like, you know, pop song, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, One Direction did it pretty well, but even like One Direction, like their songs are really well written. I think, you know. I don't know. That's a funny question. I'm gonna ask my followers who their favorite pop star is.
I would be interested to hear that.
Yeah.
I have a friend of the show on Instagram, Rafa Centeno, says, I used to groove out to Lady Gaga when I was in Afghanistan, but it was mostly because I wanted to hear a sexy female voice while surrounded by stinky ass dudes.
I love Lady Gaga. Huge fan of Gaga.
Yeah, I remember him listening to Lady Gaga, and this is a friend of mine who, you know, was like nothing but metal and, you know, Metallica all throughout high school. I'm like, dude, why are you listening to Lady Gaga? You know? But that kind of makes sense there.
Pop artists get like such a bad rap. Well, even like Britney Spears. I mean, like I said, I love Britney Spears. But like pop artists in general, like they get a bad rap. But it's like, it always goes down to if it's a catchy song.
Yep.
Right? And if someone can write a catchy song, then why does it matter the genre? And also, a lot of those rap songs are now considered pop songs. Basically, rap is the new pop.
Country as well.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of country songs.
Like, rap has taken over all of the charts, right? Mm-hmm. So I think if it's catchy, it's catchy.
Yep. And so some people also simply said they're not into pop. You know, that was another answer I got a lot. Probably like 5 to 10 people said, you know, I'm just not into pop. You know,
what does that even mean?
Exactly.
Like, what are they into?
Yeah, and I'm saying, you know, at some point they've got to love, you know, a handful of pop songs, you know, at least.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the songs that they probably do love are pop, and they don't realize it.
They don't want to give it that label.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
And I'm actually really surprised I didn't see more Michael Jackson or like Bruno Mars or something like that, you know?
Oh, Bruno, I love Bruno.
Some of his songs I was like, I don't really care for. But then when he started to mix it up and throw a lot of funk, you know, disco type sounds in there, I'm like, okay, this dude's talented. You know?
Oh, he's amazing. He's like, yeah, he's so talented. I just love him. I actually recorded in the same studio as him in Memphis, where he recorded Uptown Funk, and I got to record in that studio, and I used his engineer and stuff, and I was so excited about it because I'm such a big fan of his.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, like, I think become almost like the new Michael Jackson, right?
Totally. And The Weeknd. The Weeknd is, like, he sounds just like Michael Jackson. Obviously obviously he sounds like himself, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he sounds like Michael Jackson. Like, every time I hear a song, I'm like, oh, is that Michael Jackson? I'm like, oh, no, that's The Weeknd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for each of those guys, you know, I think they just crank out hit after hit after hit. You know? It seems like they don't miss.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, once again, it goes back to the writing. I know, like, The Weeknd, like, I think co-writing is amazing. Like, I love co-writing, and I think a lot of successful artists do co-write, but I just think there's a fine line between co-writing with, like, 2 to 6 people, but when it gets to, like, you know, 30, it's like, I don't know, I just feel like it loses its authenticity.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, for sure. You know, I'm not like a professional musician or anything like that, but I used to dabble in music. I used to love, you know, writing good songs. You know, the little intro song to this podcast is like a song I wrote when I was 17 years old, you know?
That's amazing.
When you listen back to it, you hear it a little bit. But songwriting definitely is, you know, a skill that it's tough, you know, because I love to write like a good riff or like a good bass line. But when it came to like writing lyrics, right, I was stuck, you know? I never knew what to do for lyrics. You know, I knew what I could do as far as like, you know, every other instrument, right? But when it came to lyrics, I was completely stuck. You know, I have friends that are really good at writing lyrics. You know, they just throw them together like that, like in minutes or like hours or whatever. So that co-writing, I can get on board with that for sure. You know, when you start to pick at each other's minds a little bit, you know, bounce ideas back and forth between each other, you could create some real magic there, I think.
Oh, yeah, co-writing is amazing, and I think all genres co-write. Like, every single genre, everything that, yeah, I mean, co-writing is huge, and I love that. And there's some people who, like, are really good at lyrics and not good at melody, and then there's some people who are really good at melody and not good at lyrics, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, everyone's strong at something, but that's why I like Taylor Swift, is because she's good at both.
Nice.
Yeah.
One more response from social media says, I have a listener, Angie Diaz, on Instagram. She did say her favorite pop artist, and I'm a little confused by this one, is Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but...
Oh, yeah, that's a rapper, but he's definitely pop. I mean, what is pop nowadays? But yeah, he's a rapper.
All I know him for is him being that snitch from all those memes.
Yeah, that's him.
Like in the courtroom, like telling everybody their business and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been released from jail, right?
Yeah, he's out of jail. He's making music. Him and Nicki Minaj just did a song, and it went to like #1.
So he's pretty popular.
Oh yeah, he's huge.
All right, I thought it was just the memes. So I guess I'm wrong.
No, he's had a couple songs he's gone to #1. Yeah.
Who are, like, I know this is like a loaded question. There's a lot of pop, you know, artists out there. But who would you say, like, maybe top, you know, 5 for you? Who are some of your, like, top 5 favorite pop artists in, like, you know, your lifetime?
Ooh, my lifetime. Let's see. Well, 1, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I kind of figured that one.
2, Billie Eilish.
Okay.
3, I really like Anne Marie. Have you heard of Anne Marie?
I have not.
You've probably heard of some of her songs. She's in the UK, but I just love her, and I think she's underrated, but she grows all the time. I mean, she's got like, I don't know, 8 million followers. I mean, she's not that underrated, but I just think her songwriting is so good. Ed Sheeran is amazing. I love Ed Sheeran. Demi Lovato, love her. Like, she can sing like no one's business. Who else? I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. Any like the real old school ones, like Michael Jackson or Prince or anything like that?
Oh, Prince, yeah, for sure. Love Prince.
Yeah, I was a huge fan.
Yeah, obviously Michael Jackson's a legend. But yeah, Prince, like, I grew up listening to Prince. Like, my mom listened to Prince, like, every day, dancing in her underwear. So yeah, Prince is a big one. Love him. I don't know. There's a lot. It's hard to say.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's talk about your music. You know, you've got a pretty successful single out now, right? So tell us a little bit about that. Yeah,
so we charted in the States, top 100 on radio, so that's exciting. Have you heard it? It's called Real Love.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, and it's about fuckboys. And, I just loved it because I just really related to it about, like, finding, like, you don't want to be messed around, you just want, like, actual real love, and that's so hard to come by. So that's why I didn't write that song, but I just really fell in love with it. And I thought vocally it was really challenging. Like, it was totally like a Demi Lovato type vocal vibe. So, yeah, I just liked it, and we did it. And, yeah, it's doing really well in the States on radio, so that's really exciting.
Do you know, like, any stations that have played it in the U.S.?
Oh, I have a whole list. I don't know the names, but there's a lot that have played it. But I will send you the list once I find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did watch the video and everything, and, you know, listen to the song. What would you say, like, as far as, you know, you've had some milestones with that song, but what do you think one of the milestones or successes has been that it has really made you kind of just stand there and go like, wow, that's me?
Well, just seeing my name on a chart was pretty exciting because I've been trying to do that my whole life. So, like, you can go onto the radio charts, like, on Google, and not anymore, but in a few weeks ago, and it, like, my name was there for, like, I don't know, 6 weeks or something, and that was pretty exciting because I've been waiting to see my name there for a while.
Yeah, I think I saw one of your posts that said, like, you're, like, right next to, like, some of your favorite artists, right? Like, who were you right next to?
Yeah, Maroon 5, Taylor Swift, and who was the other one? I forget the other one. But yeah, I was in between Taylor Swift and Maroon 5. I like Maroon 5. They're amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's good company to have right there, right? As chart neighbors.
Yeah, chart neighbors for sure. Yeah, so that was probably my favorite moment.
As far as the song itself goes, I know you say you didn't write it. How did that process go where you were able to get that backing track?
Like to buy the song?
Yeah, because I talked to another person that was trying to become like a pop artist, and she briefly mentioned like, yeah, if I like a song like on YouTube or whatever, I'll go and buy it. But how did you get that song basically?
Well, basically, my record label, like, they get sent songs that we might be interested in, and then if they think that I'll like them, they'll send them to me. So they had sent me a bunch of songs, and then I heard that one, and I just really liked it, and was like, yeah, we have to do that. Mm-hmm. But basically, my label just sends me songs that they think I'd like.
And that came as, like, a full package, like the music and the lyrics, or you had a hand in the lyrics, or how did that go?
No, music and lyrics.
Okay. And so...
Yeah, So when I write songs, I write lyrics and melody. Mm-hmm. But like I said, with this song, like the song was already written, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's it's more about putting like your own spin on it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually changed the words. There's which the songwriters are gonna not be happy about. But anyways, there's a line in there that says, "Just want that wild, 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 just for the night. Just want that wild, wild, wild." But I changed it to "wop, wop, wop" before it was a thing. And I was like, this sounds better. I'm going to sing it like this, even though I didn't know, like, it meant anything.
Yeah, that's what I heard that part, and I'm like, is she saying the same thing I'm thinking? I'm like that, like...
Yeah, I changed it. And I was like, no, this sounds better. But at the time, because I recorded this song like a year and a half ago, so obviously Cardi B's song wasn't out yet. But I was like, I didn't know. I was like, it sounds something sexual. I don't know what it is. It sounds sexual. I'm just going to go with it.
Well, you kind of pioneered that lyric before them then, huh?
That's right.
Taking credit for it right here and now, damn it.
Yeah, wop.
And you said it. And you said it 3 times in a row, so that makes it more impactful.
That's right. So
the song has sort of like it kind of has like a reggae feel to it, right? With the chords you're playing, they're like in the offbeat, right? I like that sound. You know, I noticed like a lot more artists, particularly in pop, are using that style, right? You mentioned, you know, you were into like Bob Marley and whatnot. Would you agree that a lot more people are using kind of like a reggae influence nowadays?
Yeah, for sure. All of that R&B. Oh, I forgot 2 artists, Rihanna and Beyonce. Obviously, how could I forget them? I'm obsessed with both of them. It's hard being put on the spot, okay?
That's why I do it.
Yeah. But they use a lot of that too. I don't know. I think it's very like popular and it gets people moving. And at the end of the day, people want to move, right? The music.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, a good mark of a good pop song for sure. And reggae typically tends to do that.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do, right, is I'd like to go ahead and play the song for everybody.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So let me cue that up. All right, everyone, this is Real Love by Schara.
Lies, baby, all them guys, they crazy cause they don't know how to be real. They are carbon copies, they just want this body. They don't care about catching these feels. Please no diamonds on no cars. I just need a man who wants my heart. If you can handle every part of me, I could blow your mind. I just want that stuff. Come on, give me what I want. I just want that real love. Need that made of steel love. Like the way it feels so wrong. Just want that wild, wild, wild. That ain't just for the night. Show me that you're worth my time. I just want that real love. Ain't about the fake stuff. Come on, give me what I want. Show me how you're crazy. Not that sweet, sweet baby. Ain't in love if it's too damn good. We can fight and make up, we can kiss and break your romance, Hollywood. Please no diamonds on, no cars. I just need a man who wants my heart. If you can handle every part of me, I could blow your mind. I just want that real love. Ain't about the fake stuff. Come on, give me what I want. I just want that real love. Need that made of steel love. Like the way it feels so wrong. Just want that wow, wow, wow. That ain't just for the night. Just wanna show me that you're worth my time. I just want that real love. Ain't about the fake stuff. Come on, give me what I want. 'Cause I don't want lonely. Baby, come on, give me your words. Push and pull my buttons. 'Cause I know just what I deserve. I just want that real love. Ain't about the fake stuff. Come on, give me what I want. I just want that real love. Need that made of steel love. Like the way it feels so wrong. Just want that wow, wow, wow. That ain't just for the night. Show me that you're worth my time. I just want that real love. Ain't about the fake stuff. Come on, give me what I want.
All right, that was Real Love by Schara. Where can people find that song, Schara?
You can find it on any platform that you listen to. Any of them. All of them. Everywhere. Just type in Schara. My name is a little weird. It's Schara. But you will find it.
Nice. So this is definitely like a very like radio-friendly pop song. You know, you've got the cool music video to go along with it. You're doing photo shoots and promos and everything. So everything right now, you know, as far as the Schara package goes, is coming off very professional, right? And to me, it seems like you're ready to start getting what's yours and to become a star, right? Would you agree with that statement? Is this like your mindset right now?
Oh, that's the nicest thing. We're going to be friends forever.
For sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But I mean, obviously COVID is like putting a damper on the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's way more important issues than just my career, obviously. But yeah, COVID's putting a damper on like me moving forward. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like it's coming. At some point, it's coming.
Yeah, it's kind of on hold, right? But I mean, like, you know, global pandemic aside, once we get through that, right? What do you hope to do next? Like live shows or what's next?
I want to go on tour with someone. Like, I want to open for someone or be a co-opener, anything. I just want to, like, be performing and touring and also doing, like, talk shows. Like, we were supposed to be doing a bunch of talk shows in LA, but then obviously that got canceled.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think just, like, getting on tour would be my next step and, yeah, doing some talk shows.
Okay. Now, the music industry as a whole, you know, I know you mentioned earlier is kind of like a little bit of corruption there, right?
Oh yeah.
Expand on that a little. What did you mean by that?
Oh God, how long do you have?
I got time.
No, it's just very corrupt. Like there's a lot of people who have had success because they've had money. Like I'm not gonna name names, but if you research enough, you will find artists who have succeeded because they're rich.
Right.
And the music industry is very expensive. You have to pay for studio time. You have to pay like promo, radio, music videos, photo shoots, like flights. Like it's an expensive industry. So yeah, I think that it's harder for people who are not rich to make it.
Right.
For sure, because you know it's a very money driven industry. But obviously, there's those people like G-Eazy. You know, G-Eazy. He was like living in his car before he made it, and like. There's a lot of artists who have struggled and not been rich. Like, I don't come from money and I'm doing well, you know. Right. Yeah. It's definitely possible. It's just a bit harder.
And I mean, you know, I think that this goes back decades where, you know, they even used to have the practices of payola, right? Where you pay the radio stations and everything to, you know, kind of
I'm pretty sure that still exists.
I think so. It's probably easier nowadays too. Just
for sure. Like I'm pretty sure that still exists, like pretty heavy. But yeah, I mean, it's just corrupt. I mean, like if you have money, you can really do anything, right? Which is sad. Like I hate that about money.
True.
But I mean, if you have the passion, you just can't give up. You just have to keep pushing. Like it does happen for people who are not rich. Like myself, G-Eazy, Katy Perry. Like she, was also like living in her car before she made it. Like there's a lot of artists who have succeeded and not had money, but it's definitely like it's hard going up against another artist who has all the financial backing, right?
Yeah, for sure. You're really kind of like an underdog if you're not coming in already set up with a good little bank account there. It seems like.
Oh, for sure. Or even just like getting like I have an indie label and I love my indie label, right? And like we're in it for life, but like if you're an indie label up against like a mainstream label, like a major label. Like, once again, who's going to get more recognition? It's going to be the major label artists because they have a bigger machine behind them. Mm-hmm. You just have to find ways around it.
Yeah. I mean, other than, the industry being, corrupt and whatnot, I think it's also like a hard nut to crack on its own without the corruption, right? I imagine it's much more complicated now, too, in quarantine, right? Trying to make it and because you have all these people trying to make it out there, right? This little bunch right here are on the cusp, right? But then this little, nugget of people actually make it inside, right? So, talk about some of the issues right now that you're facing during, quarantine and COVID, trying to make it into the music industry.
Well, a lot of issues that have come forth for me is social media. Which I actually, I'm super active on social media, but I actually hate it. Like, I hate social media, and I wish it didn't exist. I wish we lived in, the 70s. But, I think social media is a really hard thing with COVID and without, but basically it's like all the algorithms, right? Like, social media is very algorithm-based, and if you're not one of the algorithm's favorites, your shit's not going to get seen.
Right.
So there's ads, you have to do ads or I don't know. And then a lot of people the attention span of people is 1 second, right? So if you don't catch that person in a second, it's gone. So social media is a very hard thing to try to break and you need it for the music industry.
Yeah. I started this, I actually was not on any social media other than Facebook up until I started the podcast. Once I got on once I got on the podcast, I'm like, I think I need a little more, of a platform, right? And so I'm like, all right, let me try this whole Instagram thing. I'm like, all right, it's kind of weird, but I can do it. And then I got
TikTok. Do you have TikTok?
I don't. That I refuse. But I tried Twitter. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I still only have a handful of followers because there's no real people on Twitter. Yeah,
and I know. No, Twitter. Yeah, no.
It's all companies and everything, and any real person on Twitter, all they do is write about hey, I'm gonna go get a cheeseburger. That cheeseburger was good. I know. Now I'm regretting that cheeseburger. They tweet everything.
I know. It's like a mental illness.
I think so. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, social media is a beast. Oh, by the way, I have mental illness, so I can joke about it. I have severe depression, anxiety, and ADHD, for the record.
By all means, joke about it, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, social media is just a beast. And it's if you're not getting comments, the algorithm won't show you, right? So you need people to comment on your stuff. But also, it's I find with musicians, a new musician, if you follow someone and you like their photos, are you going to go check out their music? No, I personally don't. You have to capture them first in a different way that leads to music eventually.
There's even some people I'm like, I had no idea you were a musician. I thought you were a booty model.
Yeah, exactly. So it's you have to capture them in a different way unless you get your music starts really moving and you get on these playlists, really popular playlists, then then they're going to follow you because they found you on the playlist.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's a whole beast. That's what I'm struggling with right now. Just trying to figure out how to break through that kind of mold.
Mm-hmm. So the music industry, I think, seems to be changing a lot A little while back, I remember the CEO of Spotify basically telling bands, like, hey, you can't expect to make money by simply putting out a new album every few years. Like, that doesn't work anymore. That's not the music industry anymore. And so you see a lot more artists releasing songs, like, little by little. Instead of releasing the entire album all at once, they're like, all right, here's a track. And, I think that's the way more people are starting to do it. Is that how you plan on releasing music?
Yes, I'm so happy you talked about that. It's a singles world. I remember, I don't remember because I'm not that old, but when Elvis was around, that's what he did too. It was a singles world. And then eventually it would be the album. Like, and now it's back to that. Like, there was a time, like, 80s, 90s, like, okay, people would buy, like, full albums and, but now it's singles. And, it's like, you release, I don't know, sometimes people release up to 6 singles before they release an album. So yeah, we're going to be releasing singles. I don't even know when an album's coming out. It's just going to be singles for a while. Yeah,
it seems like, streaming is king right now. So it's not going to change. I think back, 10, 15 years ago, you'd have your CD player, little Walkman on, whatever. Right? And you'd shuffle through, like, the whole CD and be like, oh, that was a good CD, good album. Yeah. But that doesn't exist anymore, with the Spotify playlists and everything like that. It's like, it makes it, even, like, some of my favorite bands, like, I haven't heard their new albums,
Yeah.
Maybe I heard,
for sure.
Yeah, maybe I heard the new single, right? But there's so many bands to keep up with. It's it's a lot easier now to access all the music. Because back then you would have to, like, buy every CD, and so you better listen to the hell out of it because you just spent $20 on it, But now it's like you'll spend $7-8, whatever Spotify costs a month, and you'll listen to everybody, right? Yeah, it's just more access.
Yeah. So I think that you need to really be in love with an artist to listen to the full album. Like, I personally only listen to full albums if I'm obsessed with an artist. If I'm not obsessed with the artist, I'm just going to listen to the single. And then as a new artist, no one is obsessed with you because you're a new artist, so no one's going to listen to your album, right? So you really only want to do singles for a long time.
Yeah. When do you have a timeline, like, when you want to release a new single?
Yeah, we have one coming out. It's called Apocalypse. This is one I wrote, which I'm super stoked about, and I wrote it actually a year and a half ago, so talk about foreshadowing. It's going to be out in the next, I don't know, hopefully 6 to 8 weeks, but my label hasn't given me a date yet, but we're pushing to get it out, and I personally think it's a hit, but I mean, I guess I'm biased.
You gotta think every song's a hit, that's the mentality you gotta have. Does it have, like, a similar sound to Real Love, or is it a little different?
It's a little different, but it still has, like, the urban influences in it. I think most of my music coming out will have urban influences in it, but it's definitely a bit more dancey.
Okay.
A little more David Guetta.
Okay. Is this one about fuckboys as well?
No, it's about the apocalypse.
Okay. Well, I was just checking.
But I have lots of songs about fuckboys.
If there's anything the world needs more, it's more songs about fuckboys now.
Right? Exactly.
All right, so switching gears slightly, we talked a little bit about some of the pop artists that people love. We mentioned, like, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Maybe not as much these days, but the music industry, I think, is notorious for cranking out, like, these cookie-cutter clones when it comes to pop music, right? There's always been, like, there's always been exceptions to the rule, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, would you agree that in order to make it, you almost have to look a certain way and meet, certain unspoken criteria?
Oh my God, you asked the best questions. I'm so happy about this. Yes, and that's why I haven't made it. Like, I've been trying to make it my whole life, and I haven't made it because I'm not blonde, I don't have blue eyes, and I'm not skinny. Like, and there's nothing against blonde, blue-eyed, skinny women. Right. I love them. They're beautiful, and, like, I think they're amazing. But it's a fact that the music industry, unless you are that, they will not open doors for you. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule. Once again, I can name a lot of artists, but they have to struggle a lot harder.
And, I mean, how does somebody break through that monotony? What have you tried, or what do you think some of the ones that have broken through have done?
you really just have to stay true to yourself and keep pushing. You can't, like, and that's the thing about the music industry. There's always these record executives who are like, not all of them. Obviously, there's some amazing, I have to, like, always do the politically correct thing because I get nasty tweets being like, oh, you said this. And it's like, no, I meant this.
Right.
So I'm not going to be like, oh, all record executives are shitty, because they're not. There's obviously amazing record executives, but a lot of them are talentless old men who think they know what they're doing, and they will tell you what you need to be and what you need to sound like to make it because they had X, Y, and Z make it, you know? And it's like really, really horrible for all the rest of us who don't look like a supermodel.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine the old guys that are telling you what to look like don't look the best themselves either, right?
Exactly, right? I'm like, bro, take your own advice.
Probably, putting on a little too much cologne, got the toupee going on, cigar, big old belly, right?
Totally, yeah. And it's like, no, like, you don't get to tell me what sells. Like, that's why I'm so obsessed with Billie Eilish. I just love her so much. She is not sexualized. She wears baggy clothes. She's kind of androgynous. Like, you know, it doesn't matter because she broke the mold. And I think the younger kids and, like, generations, like, they're wanting real people. And once again, I'm not saying that beautiful people aren't real. I'm just saying there needs to be more room for the rest of us.
Right, yeah. I mean, there shouldn't be like a set standard. Like this is a pop artist. This is what you look like. You know, this is where your family went to school, and you know, because you've got a pretty diverse background, right? Like yourself.
Yeah. I'm half East Indian, Portuguese, Scottish, and I personally, I mean, I could be very mistaken, but I personally don't know any top 100 pop artists who are East Indian at all.
No, I don't.
And that's just sad. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, where are they? You know, like, I mean, obviously India has Bollywood, but like, why can't we also have Hollywood?
Yeah, and how much of an emphasis do you put on that, if at all? Like, do you see, like, I know it's kind of tough to be like, I see myself as an inspiration, you know, but do you aspire to kind of inspire other people based on the fact that, you know, you do have a different background?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, definitely. I mean, I want to inspire people to break all the molds, sorry, I can't speak, because, you know, like, you don't have to be a size 0. You can be a size 10, or, you know, you can have dark skin. You can be ethnic. You can have curly hair, like whatever, you know?
Okay. As far as pop music goes in general, you know, we obviously have some music snobs out there. You know, we talked about it a little bit. A lot of people hear the word pop and immediately think like, oh, I hate it, right? But, you know, you kind of did this already, but defend pop music a bit, right? What makes a good pop song? What makes, you know, pop as a genre valid, right? As much as like a rock and roll classic or as much as like a jazz standard?
Well, because at the end of the day, pop music is what sells the most. Like, it's not about money. It's not about money. But at the end of the day, pop music is what reaches the most people. And do you know why? It's because it's catchy. I go back to the catchy. If you have a catchy song, it's going to resonate with the whole world.
Yep. Yeah.
And a lot of those people who are saying, oh, you know, I don't like pop, like I only like this, I only like that, it's like they actually do like pop and they just don't know it.
That's true though, because I remember being like a kid in high school, like a snob, you know, a real music snob, like, I don't listen to pop, like that stuff sucks, right? But secretly I'd be like, hey, that song sounds kind of good.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's, like I said, it's all about, I find that a lot of artists get stuck in trying to be super unique, and obviously I promote being unique, but like, why can't we focus on being unique and having a catchy song?
Yeah, like your song "Real Love." You know, I actually enjoyed it. You know, it's not. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because you're on my podcast. You know, I thought it was a good, catchy song. You know, like even little things about the song. You know, where you kind of like pause it before the chorus, and you go like, I could blow your mind, you know, that part? I'm like,
that's my favorite part!
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to work it in here, I just couldn't.
I'll blow your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite part.
But like, that right there, you know, simple things like that, you know, that kind of set up the chorus perfectly, you know? And it is, there is an art to putting together, you know, good pop music, you know, because like even something as simple, I remember I just listened to a song recently and I'm like, oh, that sounds like an old, like, 70s funk song, right? It wasn't. It was, like, a new artist, Doja Cat, some...
oh, yeah, Doja Cat. Yeah.
What's the name of that song? It sounds very, like, 70s.
Say So. It's called Say So.
That, yeah. I'm like... I was like, okay, normally I wouldn't listen to this, right? I'm kind of a music snob a little bit. I'm trying not to be as much, but I heard just the guitar behind it, and I'm like, damn, that sounds really good. Like, I like that, and then I hear the vocals come in. I'm like, she's got a really good voice with it. It all works. So I like that song. Most of my friends would probably be like, oh, you like that? That's garbage kind of thing. But it's a good song. It's catchy.
It is a good song. I think, people just get stuck in, like, snobbery. Like, even if we want to go back to Nickelback,
Mm-hmm.
I understand all the jokes about Nickelback, but if you go back to it, like, they have some catchy songs. Like, I just think people get into the snobbery of it, and it's like, I don't know, if it sounds good, can't we just like it?
Exactly. The simplest, mindset for that. Music is music. If it sounds good, like it. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Before we close out, is there anything else you'd like to talk about music in general, or anything else you want to promote or plug?
Well, just that if anyone is listening and they have dreams, just never give up on them, no matter what people tell you, because they don't know shit. So just never give up. And then download Real Love and follow me on Instagram. I really would love if people could follow me on Instagram. It's at I am Schara. Maybe we can put a link up.
Oh, I definitely will.
Okay, cool. And then Apocalypse is gonna come out soon, and I can't wait to talk about that.
All right. And last thing I wanted to do, I do this on all my, every single episode, I like to talk about the next episode, right? And in my next episode, I'll be talking to a panel of teachers.
Oh, cool.
Especially here during the pandemic, things are kind of crazy. Distance learning is definitely something that they've had to adapt to. The teachers seem to be overworked, stressed, stretched beyond their means right now. And I seriously don't think they're appreciated enough. I know
they are not.
And I know you mentioned you work with kids. You teach music, right?
Yeah, I am a teacher. I consider myself a teacher because I am a teacher. And I'm not in school, but I have 45 students who I teach individually, and it's a lot, right? A lot of my friends are teachers, and they're just going through a really hard time. I don't think the school system has supported them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, so say something to the teachers working their asses off right now that is supportive and will keep them going.
I think they just need to hang in there and just know how much they make a difference in those kids' lives. Even though everything is shit right now, they're still helping those kids. Mm-hmm. And, that's what they need. For sure.
All right, Char, I had a good time, talking pop music for sure. I hope, we'll get you some more listeners, some more Instagram followers for sure.
Perfect.
But thank you for joining us, and I definitely look forward to seeing what you do in the future. And if you're ever, looking to just get on the podcast again, you're always welcome. I always tell everybody, look, I don't care if we're talking about, we had a singles panel the other week. I had all kinds of people wanting to jump on that one, So if you ever want to get on the podcast for any reason, you're welcome back for sure.
I would love to come back. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again. Everybody listening at home, appreciate it. Thank you. Fuck you and good night. Subscribe to the Ignorance is Strength podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Like, follow, and share on Facebook and Instagram at Ignorance is Strength Podcast, and on Twitter at The Ignorance Pod.